Good evening to our viewers watching on television and to those joining us online across our social media platforms. I am Daniela Arouge, bringing you the Thursday, August 27th edition of the Guyana TV9 News. In the headlines tonight, State urges court to allow Mohamed extradition proceedings to continue. Online appointments mandatory for passport applications from October 1. Education Ministry looks to build on improved mathematics results. Guyana highlights food, energy, and climate security as national priorities. And Amerindian Heritage Month 2026 calendar of activities announced. And now for the news in depth. Attorney General and Senior Counsel Anil Nandalal is asking the Court of Appeal to dismiss an application by businessmen Nazar and Azruddin Mohamed to halt their extradition committal proceedings, arguing that their constitutional appeal does not justify another suspension of the case. Here's more in this report.
In written submissions, the state maintains that the Mohammeds have not demonstrated that allowing the committal inquiry to continue will undermine their appeal or cause irreparable prejudice. The proceedings before Principal Magistrate Judy Lachman are part heard and are scheduled to resume in the first week of September. Nanlal argues that simply filing an appeal does not automatically suspend proceedings and that a stay is an exceptional remedy, requiring clear evidence that continuing the case would effectively defeat the appeal. A key issue in the constitutional challenge concerns safeguards against the Mohammeds being re-extradited to a third country for offenses committed before their extradition. The state maintains that protection already exists under Article 7 of the applicable extradition treaty. The Attorney General is also relying on a December 2025 diplomatic assurance from the United States that neither man would be re-extradited to a third country for a pre-extradition offense without the required ministerial consent. The state further stresses that committal does not amount to surrender, noting that the men retain access to legal remedies, including habeas corpus, appeals on questions of law and bail. Nanlal argues that allowing the magistrate to continue would therefore not render the constitutional appeal meaningless, while another stay could further delay proceedings that have already faced several interruptions. The Attorney General is asking the Court of Appeal to reject the stay application and allow Magistrate Lachman to resume the inquiry as scheduled in September. Brad D'Souza reporting for Guyana TV9 News.
Citizens applying for passports in Guyana will soon have to book an appointment before visiting a passport office. The new system takes effect on October 1, 2026, and is expected to reduce overcrowding while giving applicants greater flexibility in choosing when and where they complete the in-person stage of the process. Here's more in this report. The Guyana Immigration Department is moving away from walk-in passport applications as part of efforts to modernize and streamline passport services. Senior Superintendent Stephen Telford, Deputy Chief Immigration Officer, says from October 1, passport offices will no longer accept applicants who arrive without a prior appointment.
Of Guyana. So from the 1st of October 2026, we will now be accepting applications for passport only via the online application appointment system. We will no longer accept persons at any of the passport offices with persons walking in with the application. So you will now only be dealt with by an appointment.
Under the new arrangement, persons will first complete their passport application online before selecting a convenient passport office, date, and time for their in-person appointment. The system will be accessible through pp.gpf.gov.gy and will apply across all 7 passport offices nationwide, including Camp Street, Leonora, Anna Regina, and Berbice. Telford says the appointment-based approach is designed to give applicants greater control over the process while helping immigration offices manage the number of persons being served at any given time.
Allows you, the applicant, in the application process to choose which one of the passport offices you want to do your application at a date and a time that is convenient to you. Here in Georgetown or countrywide at the Government Services Center, I would just want to alert you in the using of the online application platform. It is pp.gpf.gov.gy, and please be careful as it relates to using of the URL that may be fakely placed out there. So I would want to take this opportunity to encourage you to ensure you go, apply, make your appointment, and you come, and then we will serve you.
Passport processing generally takes 3 working days under the standard service. An expedited option is also available, allowing applicants to receive their passports within 24 hours, while certain circumstances may allow for processing within approximately 30 minutes. The Immigration Department is therefore urging persons planning to apply for or renew their passports to familiarize themselves with the online system before the new appointment-only arrangement takes place. Guyana has recorded an improvement in mathematics performance this year, with Education Minister Sonia Parag crediting several interventions introduced over the past year. The minister says the focus is now on strengthening foundational learning and ensuring students develop stronger numeracy and literacy skills from an earlier age. Here's more. Minister Parag says she's encouraged by the improvement in mathematics results, noting that the ministry has implemented several initiatives aimed at helping students overcome weaknesses in the subject. One of the major interventions has been the establishment of maths centers across the country, where students receive additional instruction from teachers, including educators who traveled from Georgetown to support students in hinterland communities. The ministry also expanded online opportunities for students to access mathematics instruction. Parag says while these interventions have contributed to improved results, the ministry now intends to focus more heavily on the foundation of mathematics education. This will include introducing earlier numeracy assessments to identify learning gaps before students complete primary school. Literacy assessments will also play a key role, as the minister says students must be able to read, comprehend, and reason effectively to perform well in mathematics.
COSAD meeting was very important to come up with long-term interventions, and we had started that conversation. So we are going to ensure that moving forward, that we have set up a task force, and we will be including educators, those who are retired, and mathematics teachers, those retired mathematics teachers, to assist us with that task force and ensure that we can strengthen mathematics. But overall, we have done very well.
The ministry is also moving toward long-term interventions through a mathematics task force that will bring together educators, mathematics teachers, and retired professionals to develop strategies for improving mathematics performance nationwide. The National Mathematics Task Force was established to develop a sustainable strategy for mathematics education. Minister Parag says the objective is not simply to improve examination scores, but to ensure students develop a stronger understanding of mathematics that can serve them beyond the classroom.
So what we will be looking at this year, we've had an improvement on the results for mathematics. That's an increase from last year to this year. So I'm very proud of that fact. We would have had several interventions being made for mathematics in the last year. One of those significant investments, I believe, it's the establishment of math centers throughout the country for students to be able to come together and be taught by teachers from Georgetown who give their time to places like the hinterland, etc. Also creating online spaces for students to learn mathematics, and I think that really did help us a lot. Of course, we're looking forward to ensuring that we build on our foundation, strengthen our foundation, or at the foundation level. That means that numeracy assessments need to be done, and that has to be done at earlier grades to ensure that when you're leaving primary school, that you would have had a good grasp of mathematics, as well as literacy assessments, so that children can be able to harness their comprehensive skills, which will help them with mathematics as well as English, especially that area of arguments or argumentative area for English, because that's one of the areas that I believe CXC did a deep dive into and found that we need to work on that. So the COSAD
traffic along Avenue of the Republic was temporarily disrupted after a container reportedly fell from a moving truck. The incident caused congestion in the area, but no injuries were reported. Motorists were advised to exercise caution while navigating the affected roadway. More news after the break. Do stay with us.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2026 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration, name change, or correction. You must have the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on November 30, 2026. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at a different address than the one you were registered at. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
I know you have work to do, but come, I just need a minute of your time. It won't even take that long. So, I have a proposal. We could do besties in Punta Cana. Really need a getaway. And not to worry, I went to Sunita Travel Agency and they recommended a few hotels that do all-inclusive stays. And they're very affordable. The vibes. Let me tell you something. We do not want to miss a trip to Punta Cana. Why? Ziplining. No, I know this is not your vibe, but please, listen. Hold on. Wait. I know you like throw it back. There's a boat party. We could go there. And then there's this thing called buggy adventure, some buggy something. I don't know, but I want to be a buggy or whatever it is. I just want to be a part of it. And then we got snorkeling. Oh, this thing is so ugly. Please, you be next to uglier things than this. Stop it. Trust me, you're going to love it. It'll be just you and me, Punta Cana, drinks, just having the time of our life. Not to worry. We've got many flight options, and they made sure that they went through it with me. The prices are affordable. Trust me. I know you like thinking about the budget or whatever. Remember the time when we went and we missed the flight? Yeah, when we booked with Sunita Travel Agency, even if it happens, with slim chance, they'll know what to do and we won't be stranded like we did the last time. This solid plan. You, me, Punta Cana. Cheap. It won't even hurt your pocket. Please say yes. Yes.
Welcome back. You're watching Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. Agriculture continues to be a major pillar of Guyana's economy, with Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat stressing the importance of proper land and water management as the country faces growing climate-related risks. Here's more.
Agriculture has supported Guyana's economy for centuries and remains critical to national development. However, speaking at the conference of the parties to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD COP17 in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, the minister says that the country's coastal location and large areas below sea level make effective land use and water management critical. Guyana has identified food security, energy security, and climate security as three key pillars of its economic resilience.
So agriculture has been a bedrock of our economy for many centuries now and continues to be so. That is why it is even critical that land use and management, water management is first and foremost and paramount in our planning, especially as a country that lies below sea level and is on the coast of South America. So that is why I said that I'm very pleased to get part of this discussion, because we are very vulnerable to some of the elements that exist mainly because of climate change. Our economy is based solely on three important pillars. That is food security, which is critical and important, energy security, and we see from global challenges that exist today, how important energy security is, even right here in Mongolia. I've witnessed the long lines at petrol stations, and then you realize how important energy security is for a country. And finally, the other one is climate security. Because we are probably one of the greenest country in the world. We are one of the 8 Amazonia country as well too. Our forests, as mentioned by a colleague from Bhutan, the services that it offers, the livelihood aspect, water management, prevention of drought. It's an economy by itself, an entire economy by itself, and for residents of our indigenous people, which is 12 to 14% of our population actually.
Food security remains important as the country works to strengthen agricultural production, while recent global challenges have highlighted the need for reliable and secure energy supplies. Climate security is equally important given Guyana's extensive forests and its position within the Amazonian region. The country's forests provide environmental services, support livelihoods, and help protect against drought and other climate-related impacts. The minister also highlighted the importance of forests to indigenous communities who account for an estimated 12 to 14% of Guyana's population. The emphasis, they say, is on ensuring that Guyana's natural resources are managed sustainably while supporting economic development and protecting communities from the growing effects of climate change. Bradley Susie reporting for Guyana TV9 News.
We tell you now that the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs has unveiled the calendar of activities for Amerindian Heritage Month 2026 with a series of cultural, sporting, and educational events planned across Guyana under the theme Observing Our Cultural Heritage during our Diamond Jubilee. Here's more. Minister of Amerindian Affairs Honorable Sarah Shadiq says Amerindian Heritage Month remains an important platform for promoting Indigenous culture and creating opportunities for Indigenous communities to showcase their traditions while generating income.
We are one of the very first countries, if not the only, to designate an entire month for promotion of our First People culture. This month of activities is funded by the Government of Guyana and also presents an opportunity for our people to earn income and to promote our unique culture. Our activities this year are observed under the theme, Observing Our Cultural Heritage during our Diamond Jubilee.
The month-long observances will officially begin on August 31 with an Amerindian religious service at the Humaniano. The opening cultural extravaganza will follow on September 1 at Whirlwind Village in Sophia, with arts, craft and cuisine exhibition and cultural nights scheduled from September 2nd to the 5th. Other activities include the traditional Amerindian Fitness Walk on September 6, an Amerindian art exhibition at Castellani House on September 7, and a reflection on the life of Indigenous pioneer Stephen Campbell on September 10. Bunbury in Region 1 will host this year's Amerindian Heritage Village Day on September 12, while the annual Heritage Dinner is set for September 18 at the Royal Ballroom. The Amerindian Heritage Safari will travel to Falmouth Region 10 from September 19 to 20. The Amerindian Heritage Games will then take place at the Everest Ground from September 24 to the 27th. The celebration will conclude with the Amerindian Heritage Pageant at the National Cultural Center on September 30.
A lot of persons have been reaching out to us in an effort to be able to get the calendar of events. So I'm sure that now that we have the events, we can be able to plan our schedule as to the activities we would want to attend. We do look forward to seeing all of you as we observe these different activities throughout the month of September. Thank you.
Minister Shadiq is encouraging members of the public to participate in the activities and celebrate Guyana's Indigenous heritage throughout the month. A Cuban national was found dead beneath shipping containers at the Munish Wars shipping terminal at Houston, East Bank de Mararo on Thursday morning. The deceased has been identified as Alex Jesus Gonzalez Beria of Canal Number 1, West Bank de Mararo. Initial reports indicate that Beria may have been resting in a gap near a shipping container when 2 containers were moved and stacked in the area. It is alleged that the heavy-duty machinery operator was unaware that Beria was there. Beria was subsequently discovered beneath the containers. Investigations are ongoing into the circumstances surrounding the incidents. When we return, we take a look on what's trending in the regional and international scene. We'll be right back.
Want to place your death announcements and in memoriam messages on Channel 9? Call 592-761-5006, 710-5008, 600-5006. Or visit our office at Lot 85A Lamaha Street, Albertown, Georgetown, Century 21 Building.
Guyana, Channel 9 is now Guy TV9, proudly under new management. We're building stronger with a balanced and open platform for all advertisers. Whether you're promoting a business, service, or event, your message belongs right here. So choose your spot, news, prime time, or anytime, and reach viewers across Guyana. With affordable rates and professional service, Guy TV9 is your partner in progress. So visit us at Lot 21A, Lamaha Street, Georgetown, in the Century 21 building, or call 600-5006 or 761-5006. Guyana TV9. New leadership, fresh outlook, real results.
Welcome back. You're watching Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. And now for your Caribbean News Brief. Puerto Rico is facing a worsening drought crisis, with the U.S. government declaring a disaster for 26 municipalities. More than 33% of the territory is experiencing extreme drought, while farmers have reported significant losses to crops including coffee, cacao, plantains, and bananas. The declaration gives affected agricultural producers access to emergency loans. Meanwhile, more than 180,000 residents have faced rotating water outages of up to 48 hours. Authorities say the condition have been intensified by a strong El Nino weather pattern. Tropical storm Dolly has formed in the Atlantic and is moving westward toward Lesser Antilles, with forecasters warning of possible heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and rough seas across parts of the Eastern Caribbean from the weekend. The storm could later affect Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola, although strong wind, shear, and dry air may weaken the system. No coastal watches or warnings are currently in effect, but residents across the region are being urged to monitor the storm as it develops. Turning now to the international news. The Trump administration is preparing to revoke B1 and B2 business and tourism visas held by foreigners who have applied for and are currently seeking asylum in the United States. The move could affect up to 200,000 people and would potentially be the largest mass visa revocation in the U.S. history. The State Department says the measure targets people who entered as temporary visitors but later sought asylum. Revocations are expected to take place on a rolling basis. Officials say losing a visa would not automatically result in deportation, as pending asylum claims would still have to be processed. Heavy rain has battered Japan's north-central Ishikawa and Teyama prefectures, triggering flooding, landslides, and road closures. More than 380,000 people were advised to seek shelter while rescuers used boats to evacuate residents trapped by rising waters. More than 1,000 homes also lost electricity. The Japan Meteorological Agency has warned that further heavy rainfall could continue throughout Friday, with authorities urging residents to remain alert for flooding and landslides. And those were the stories that made the headlines for tonight's newscast. For more trending stories, follow us on our Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube platforms at GUI TV9. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Daniela Rajo. Until next time, do have a safe evening and bye for now.